Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Kamakshi's greatness. There is one Parashakti as the basis of all existence, its creation, protection, and destruction. These are not separate singular events. They are happening all the time in every micro and macro systems. As you are listening to me, worlds are coming into being and going out of existence. In every individual, some cells are being created, some being nurtured, and some disappearing. So, when I use words indicative of space and time, such as here, there, within, without, in, out, now, then, etc., please try to understand that I am talking about such subtle things which are not things. Beyond creation, maintenance, and erasure, the fourth is Turiyam, also known as Chaturtham, Shivam, Advaitam, and Santam, as per Mandukya Upanishad. That is also Brahmam. Since there is nothing other than that, it is Advaitam. Then it has no color or forms either. It is pure potential. It is Shuddha Spatikam, totally transparent. Look at the word transparent. One meaning is see through, another meaning is trans plus parent, that is across or beyond plus originator. This Shuddha Spatika Sankasham is Shiva Swarupam, Red Kameshwari, Kamakshi. From the potential one, when it becomes many, it also becomes the protective force of Kameshwari, the mother with intense compassion and grace. She is the power of Maya, which makes one seemingly many. She is also the power which can nullify the effect of Maya and dissolve us in the oneness of Advaita Anubhava. Thus, she is the Jnana Ambikai too. There is no end to her greatness beyond human grasp and comprehension. Since Brahmam is Turiyam, the power of Brahmam, Kamakshi, also must be Turiyam. Adi Shankara in Saundari Lahari says that she is unaffected by the action of Brahmam. As the power of the executive, she is beyond the influence of that power. Creation, maintenance, and destruction are within the purview of Maya. She dilutes the entire universe by the Maya, says Adi Shankara. I quote, Mahamayaya Vishwam Brahmayasi Parabrahma Mahishi. How can she be another person and that person be Brahmam's wife when there is nothing other than Brahmam? One movement created all these appearances. That seeming one movement in an otherwise immobile Brahmam is considered as Brahmapatni Kameshwari. The great Mahanubhavas who have personally experienced the supreme grace of this mother beyond compare have named her so. Saraswati is considered as Brahma's wife. As Brahma does creation, she imparts the power of imagination for creation to all life forms. Mahalakshmi, who gives wealth, is rightly considered as the wife of Mahavishnu, who is the ruler of all. The Samhara Murti Rudra's consort is Parvati, the one who remains above all these activities as Parashakti Kamakshi has of necessity to be considered as the wife of Parabrahmam. Devoid of traits, gunas, and actions, kriyas, she is the Mahamaya too. There is no end or limit to her greatness, says Adi Shankara, using the word Nissima Mahima. Her greatness cannot be understood either, he says, Turagnimam. If we dissolve ourselves in that power which is moving everything, how can it be that we will become quiet and peaceful? If you deeply think about this apparent paradox, you will realize that it is because of its static, peaceful, and happy state that it is able to move everything. The individual jiva too is doing the three krityas of Srishti, Sthiti, and Samhara in dream, wakefulness, and sleep avasthas or states, As I said earlier, you see that even while he is asleep, there is that power in him that is awake, without which he will not wake up the next day. So, it is clear that the fourth is in him too. It is not moving even when he is moving. You see, the basis of all the movement has to be static. So, the basis of all life forms and things, the Parashakti is absolutely quiet and peaceful. If we are devoted to this idea, even we can also attain to complete peacefulness. With the passage of time, man changes, life forms change. Moving and non moving, animate and inanimate, animals, creatures, and materials change. Worlds, planets, stars, galaxies all change. The only non changing fact is the basis of all existence, the Brahman, that does not change. That is called Sat or being. That one being, not knowing that it is as good as not being. So this awareness of being is called Chit or knowing. This is Jnanam. Sat is Ishvara and Chit is Ambikai. This knowing gives happiness. That happiness is called Anandam. So Ishvara and Ambal, Kameshwara and Kamakshi together are Sat Chit Anandam or Satchitanandam. You cannot separate them, as you cannot separate the whiteness from milk, flower from its fragrance, honey from its sweetness, and fire from its heat. That is why they are symbolically known as Ardhanarishwara. In one form, one half is Ishwara and the other half is Ambal. Maybe that is why we refer to the lady wife as the better half. But as though this 50% sharing is also insufficient, Adi Shankara has expressed a modification of this idea in one of the shlokas of the Saundarya Lahari, starting with Tvaya Hritva Vamam. He says, Hey Ambike, Nirguna Brahmam was colorless, Shuddha Sphatika, in it you took the left half, but as though not satisfied with the 50%, you seem to have occupied the other half of his body too. That is why you are completely red all over the body as Kameshwari. You have appropriated his third eye and crescent moon too. There are two principles here. One is that the Shiva Tattva is included in her. Second is that actionless Brahman, for the sake of Anugraha to life forms, takes the complete shape as Kameshwari. In the shloka starting with the words Gataste Manjatvam, the 92nd in the Saundarya Lahari, when saying that Ambal is doing all the five jobs, he says, You are seated with Kameshwara in the court which has Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and Ishvara as the legs. But Kameshwara is unseen since your redness has completely dominated the scene. Her Anugraha Shakti is so effective. As said in the earlier shloka, Ambal also has three eyes. She is also wearing the crescent moon on her hair. Her eyes are at the sun and the moon. The third eye is Agni or fire. This is described by another poem of Saundarya Lahari with poetic beauty. Your right eye creates the day, left eye the night, and the eye in between creates the Sandhya or the evening and morning twilight. That is why it is red. It says, she is herself the creator of time. That means Kamakshi, sporting the crescent moon on her head, is also mentioned by Mukar in Panchashati. The first 100 shlokas in Panchashati is Arya Satakam. The Ambal being addressed by the shlokas is Arya. Arya means bestest. Do not think of Arya as a name for a race. This Arya, Dravida racial divide, is a canard of vested interest of Britishers when they ruled over India. In the shloka starting with the words Indu Mole, he says, The wealth and affluence of Chandrasekhara, the Indu Mole is yourself, Amma. The Ishvarahood comes to him as by you only. The first shloka of Saundarya Lahari too confirms the idea that without her he is inert. Parmeshwara, being aware of his self, is due to her the dynamic idea. Without her grace, we can never know him though he is omnipresent. Even Shiva himself can have self awareness only because of her. At the same time, he is basis for her very being and existence. She is the Prakriti or Mother Nature, and he is Purusha, the man. Nature is called Maya, and Ishvara is Mai or Mayavi, the magician. Ishvara's wealth, Kamakshi, as inseparable nature, is effulgent in the center of Kanchipuram, wearing the sprouting newborn moon as the essence of Vedas, says Mukar. The words in Sanskrit read Aindava Kishora Shekaram, meaning baby like moon with exceptional beauty of expression. Another child of Ambal, Tirugyana Sambandar, said in Tamil, Mutra Ven Tingal, meaning the same, not yet fully mature white moon. Ambal is nature. Not only that, she is also the power of Maya and the power that can and erase the effect of Maya. This Kamakshi is not separate from Purusha or Shiva. They are non-differentiable one. Veda's end message is oneness of Advaita. She is the embodiment of the principle of Advaita. Advaita, the intangible principle, in tangible form, is she as Kameshwari in Kanchi Kamakshi. Mukar says, Aidambaryam Saghasti Nigamanam. We approach her as the mother form. There we note that she is having the father's third eye and crescent moon. As Pativrata, that is a woman totally devoted and faithful to her husband, she got half his body. Still, when you look closely, she has slowly stolen his entire being and made him herself. So says Saundarilahari. With poetic license and devotional fervor, Muka and Adishankara have described her thus in Saundarilahari and Panchasati. The idea is that she is complete power of Brahman and there is no difference between her and Paramatma Parameshwara. If Adishankara says that she has stolen Shiva's body, Nilakanta Dikshidhar, who was born in the family of Appaya Dikshidhar, claims that Parameshwara has misappropriated all her greatness. He charges that Parameshwara has got name and fame as having reduced command to ashes by a look of the third eye and as having kicked Kalan by his legs. Both misappropriations. Kaman was burnt by the third eye, agreed. But this eye belongs to you at least 50%, isn't it? Let that be set aside. But the leg with which Kalan was kicked was entirely yours, the left leg. Here the credit should go entirely to you only. The message is that the slightest grace of Kamakshi is enough to win over lust, desires, and time. Your greatness is beyond the reach of our speech and comprehension. It is the power that moves the static inert Shiva. By the move of your eyebrows, you make Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishvara, and Sadashiva do the five main duties of creation, maintenance, samhara, tirodhana, and anugraha known as Panchakritya. They are like five officers working under you. They cannot do anything on their own. All their power is yours. All their heads are in your lotus feet, with their hands held in a posture of obedience as birds of lotus. If we do puja to your lotus feet, it will be as though we have done archana in their hands. To do obeisance to you is as good as propitiating all the gods, since you are the mother of all. So says another shloka of Saundarya Lahari, starting with the word Trayanam Devanam. Adi Shankara talks of Ambal's Mahima in Saundarya Lahari in these words: Amma, you are residing in the abode which is surrounded by 9 concentric perimeters. There in the center, you are with Parameshwara. No one deserves to get inside. Indra and other devatas are outside the outer perimeter. Your gods are the siddhis such as Anima. They themselves grant the various powers to the visitors. The shloka starts with the words Purarate Antaha Puramasi, describing her abode. This palace, surrounded by nine avarnas or concentric enclosures, is known as Sri Chakra. This is the yantra. The formless Kameshwari is in the form of Sri Chakra yantra. It will look like some lines and angles. Some words which have divine powers are called mantras. Similarly, these designs with divine powers are called yantras. Kamakshi or Kameshwari's mantra is Sri Vidya and yantra is Sri Chakram. In it, there are 9 avarnas which are concentrating spheres with gates. In the center is a triangular structure with a bindu in its center. This dot is Parashakti. In it, she is Kameshwari with Kameshwara. Our understanding is limited to the 3 dimensions of length, breadth, and height, or depth with time. Can we think of a matrix of 9 dimensions? Try. The outer 9 avarnas are like fortresses guarded by various devatas who are also her power only. The outermost avarna has siddhis starting from Anima, as I said earlier. Some people are called siddhas. They do things seemingly miraculous. These powers are Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Prapti, Prakmayam, Ishitvam, Vasishtam, and Kamavasyanam or Bhukti. Anima is to make oneself powerfully concentrate into the smallest like an atom. Mahima is to become bigger than the biggest. Laghima is to become lighter than a whiff of cotton. Prapti is to attain anything wanted. Prakmayam is to know everything. Easitvam is suzerainty on all and everything. Vasitvam is highest attractiveness. The eighth one is variously called as Kamavasyanam or Bhukti, or which means to have one wishes, wants, senses, and mind under one's control. By other siddhis, we can do good or bad, but to go beyond good and bad is what is to be achieved. The happiness only when the mind is won over. This happens only when the mind is won over. You win your mind. Automatically, others' minds are under your control. The mother of all siddhis is self realization. When you realize yourself, you know that all so called siddhis are only your already achieved attainments. If and when you know everything and you are everything, who is to be told about it and who is to be impressed? Who is to flatter you or give you name and fame? When you are everything, what is to be desired and who is to be attracted? Tayum plus Anavar is equal to Tayamanavar. A Tamil poet, Siddha of Trichy, says that you can do any miracle. You can materialize things from thin air, can make things disappear, enter into other people's mind or body, but what is most difficult is to do nothing and simply be with your mind under control. In Tamil, Summa Iru. In Telugu, Orika Undu. In English, simply be is that ultimate achievement. You can do miracles, but you cannot do miracles thinking that you are doing miracles. It has to come to you naturally, without a sense of achievement. Beyond Tambaram, a suburb of Chennai, there is a temple complex that has come into being in memory of Seshadri Swamigal of Tiruvannamalai. There is one temple each for the 18 Siddhas. In Gorakhpur, in the temple for Gorakhnath, there are statues for a whole lot of Siddhas. Their actions will look like pranks, but in reality, having advanced far in the process of self realization, they are automatically endowed with all the siddhis. which are flabbergasting for the ordinary average human being. In the abode of Kamakshi, Sri Chakra, the Devatas, who grant you the powers of Siddhi, are like the gatekeepers in the outer periphery. Such power of Ambal on occasions pours forth with uncontrollable spontaneity and ebullience. The the Tiruvanaika Akhilandeshwari Shakti was rather unbearable. Adi Shankara got made two Tadangas, that is ear studs, in the form of Sri Chakra and Shiva Chakra. He reigned in the Ambal's power in them and offered them as ornaments for the goddess. Similarly, when he visited Rajarajeshwari Kamakshi, the same Acharya installed a Sri Chakra Yantra in front of her and invoked her powers to settle in it. Since then, she is supremely Shantamurti, imparting her grace to her devotees. Om Shri Mahaperiva Sharanam.